There are many reasons why we would encourage someone to start homesteading. This video will focus on several specific reasons to homestead. We like to be solutions-based instead of problem-focused. We love to be proactive and create resiliency, while also building skills and knowledge. Whether you're contemplating homesteading, brand new to homesteading, or a seasoned homesteader, you need to keep in mind what is happening in the world around us to better understand yourself when times get tough. In the past few years, we've all seen events happen that we wouldn't have expected to experience in our society. The reality is that more events are possible than we realize, and we need to be prepared. Of course, we don't mean to bring fear into this, but what is happening in the world is scary. But this scary world is becoming reality. On the top of the list of why to homestead is war. We're seeing it happen right now. Though it may not be firsthand for most of us, it's important to know that we are not unattackable as a nation. We can learn from history about a lot of what we need to be watchful for today. We can look back at history to see what war has done to the food systems, to know that our current systems are weak. Though we may not be able to change the systems, we can start to take food security into our own hands. Start by building up a well-stocked pantry, growing gardens, and learning to preserve food. War is a reality of civilizations, and it will come again. It is important to be living in a prepared state. Lockdowns is number 2 on the list. In 2020, when the pandemic hit, I would have never believed that the majority of the world was going to be convinced it was in their best interest to stay inside their homes and wear masks. But I was wrong. Many people went along with exactly what they were told to do, even medical providers and clergy. I believe the 2020 lockdowns were a test run, and we're likely to see them again. Though the events surrounding the pandemic was a huge motivator for many people to be prepared, including us, many of those same people have now gotten lazy again. When we look at our culture's current systems, we don't believe any of them are getting stronger or better. The truth is, they're all getting weaker. How weak do they have to get until they break? That's yet to be seen. What we do know is that all civilizations go through a historical pattern, and we're currently on the downward slide of our historical pattern. Number 3 on the list is the grid. In this instance, although I know there are many different grids, I am referring to the electrical grid. What happens when it breaks down? As a society, we can't go long without electricity because most everyone has become reliant to it to survive. In fact, we find it somewhat humorous that our grid is already so overloaded that many places in the United States have to deal with rolling blackouts, yet we continue to push for more and more electricity. If you had no electricity tomorrow, what would you do? Many people would say, live off solar. That is good, but at some point those systems will fail. Do you know how to fix them? What if you don't have a way to purchase spare parts? What happens when your battery banks just don't work any longer? We would like to encourage you to put some thought into this and learn the ways of our ancestors. They lived without electricity. They didn't need refrigeration. They didn't need an air conditioner. It is these things you must take a deep look at and see if you are set up on your homestead to live without the modern convenience of electricity. Number 4 is sabotage. What I mean by this is the vulnerability that we have for our food and water systems to be sabotaged. Our food and water systems can be easily poisoned. Our transportation systems can disrupt our food supply, and many other systems can quickly be interrupted with very little effort. Many of America's farmland is now owned by large Chinese companies, and it is easy to let your mind wander about how easy it would be for them to shut down many of our major food systems. It is said, if you control the food system, you control the people. We all know there's much truth to this statement. In fact, in the past few years, we've seen many factories with mysterious fires. We won't discuss whether they were truly accidents or not, but even these few major factories had a large impact on our food supply. No matter where you stand, bringing your food supply as close to home as possible is always a good idea. Eliminating factories and grocery stores solidifies your food supply in emergency situations, no matter what sabotage may take place. Setting up rainwater catchment or drilling a well gets you one step ahead of relying on the water that comes from your tap. Number 5 is disease. Disease is a part of human history. We are not above it. Even though we have areas of our medical system that can contain or fight them well, we can still have disasters that arise out of disease. In fact, antibiotic resistance is a major problem. It's creeping up and taking over, even though it's not yet making headline news. Antibiotic resistance is moving to the top of being one of the biggest killers in the United States. If you are looking to boost your health, you need to look into educating yourself on herbal medications. Herbs have been around for centuries. Pharmaceuticals are fairly new to the game when you think about the course of time humans have been on this earth. I'll list the Herbal School affiliate link that I highly recommend in the description below. If you want to learn herbs and learn them well, there just isn't another way to learn it than through the Homegrown Herbalist School. Believe me, I know. I learned more through this school than I ever did in the countless years I spent in graduate school training to become a doctor of natural medicine. And last but not least, number 6 is an environmental disaster. Hurricane Katrina taught us that we're not equipped to handle natural disasters. We don't fault anyone for this, as a natural disaster is just that, a disaster. They will cause major problems, and no matter where you live, there's potential for a natural disaster. It's our recommendation to take precautions based on where you live. History shows that as cultures get successful, they also get comfortable. With comfort comes complacency and lazy attitudes towards preparedness. Just a few years after the pandemic, we as a nation are incredibly comfortable. Don't get comfortable. That's where they want you to be. All in all, we want you to keep a solution-based mindset about these major problems that many of us will likely face. We have found that the benefits of homesteading and of living this lifestyle answers many of the concerns listed in this video. We strongly recommend getting your homestead up and running if you haven't already, and learn how you can improve your systems. Learn the ways of our ancestors and how they survived. Don't be afraid to start small, but do start. SHTF Survival Homestead Teaching Farm thanks you for watching this video. Please continue to help us help you by liking, sharing, and subscribing.